most of us have driven alone at night, half asleep, one hand on the wheel, fog pressing against the windows while some tired song plays low in the background. There's a strange calm to it, almost comforting, until something reminds you just how vulnerable you really are out there. Because the truth is, not every night drive ends the way you expect. Some people never make it home. And the ones who do? They sometimes carry stories they'll never forget. Tonight, you'll hear 3 of those stories. True encounters. Real people. And they all start the same way, just an ordinary drive, until something appeared on the road that wasn't supposed to be there. He'd just finished a long shift behind the bar. It was the kind of night where last call felt like it dragged on forever, cleaning glasses, wiping counters, waiting for the last stubborn customers to stumble out. By the time he locked the doors, it was well past 2 a.m. His eyes were heavy, his body aching, but at least the drive home would be quiet. The roads he took weren't the main highways, they were back roads that cut through farmland and thick patches of woods. That night, fog rolled low across the pavement, curling around the edges of his headlights. Aside from the hum of the engine, there was nothing but silence. In a strange way, it felt peaceful. Almost too peaceful. Then he noticed it. At first, just a faint blink of yellow light in his rearview mirror. It flashed once, then again, like a distant hazard light. He thought it might have been a cyclist, or maybe some kind of road beacon hidden in the fog. But as the miles passed, the light didn't fade. It didn't grow closer either. It just stayed, exactly the same distance behind him. Perfectly timed, perfectly paced. He frowned, pressing a little harder on the gas. The light followed. He eased off, letting the car slow. The light slowed too. Finally, he pulled over to the shoulder, engine idling. The light stopped, hovering in the mist just far enough that he couldn't make out what it was. And that's when it started to change. The blinking grew brighter, sharper. It wasn't a steady hazard anymore, it was pulsing, rhythmically, almost like it was alive. His heart kicked into overdrive. Suddenly, without warning, his car shuddered. The engine cut off. The dashboard went black. Even his phone screen refused to light up. In the silence, the glow swelled, filling the night until it was blinding. He covered his eyes, then just as suddenly, the light vanished. The road behind him was empty. Nothing there at all. His car coughed back to life, headlights flickering on by themselves. He drove the rest of the way home in silence, shaken, gripping the wheel tight. That bartender thought the nightmare ended once he reached home, but what if the thing following you isn't human at all? He'd been driving trucks for over 20 years, and nothing surprised him on the highway anymore. Long stretches of desert, empty skies, the occasional animal darting across the road, he'd seen it all. Loneliness was part of the job. But that night, something felt different. The road was too quiet, the darkness too heavy, like the world beyond his headlights had just stopped. That's when he noticed the SUV. It had been behind him for miles, a black shape with dim headlights, keeping perfect distance. Not close enough to tailgate, but never far enough to disappear. He figured it would pass eventually, but it didn't. No matter how many exits or stretches of open road, it just stayed, locked on him. After nearly an hour of this strange game, his nerves got the better of him. He pulled into a deserted rest stop, just a cracked lot with a couple of flickering lamps. The SUV followed but parked way down at the far edge, engine idling. The trucker climbed down from his cab, ready to demand answers, but before he could get close, the SUV roared to life and sped off into the night. Shaking his head, he figured it was over. He parked his rig, locked up, and tried to get some rest. Hours later, he woke to the crunch of gravel. Slow, deliberate footsteps circling his trailer. His pulse spiked. Then came the sound, metal scratching against metal. Someone was prying at his trailer doors. Without hesitation, he slammed his palm on the horn. The blaring sound shattered the silence, his headlights bursting on. 2 figures jerked back, frozen in the glare, before sprinting off into the desert. He caught only silhouettes, too fast, too human. The next morning, in daylight, he walked to the back of his trailer. His stomach dropped. Fresh scratches and bent metal lined the doors where they had tried to force their way inside. Whoever it was, they hadn't just been curious travelers. They were ready. Prepared. Waiting for the right moment. You think being in a big truck makes you safe? Imagine being trapped in just a car, on a lonely road, with nowhere to run. He wasn't supposed to be out that late, but the empty backroads were too tempting. A young guy, full of energy, music blasting through his speakers, windows rolled down to the cool night air. There was a kind of freedom in driving fast where no one else was around, where every curve of the road felt like it belonged only to him. Nothing bad could happen out here. At least, that's what he thought. It started with something small. Up ahead, in the center of the road, sat a shopping cart. Just standing there, wheels angled awkwardly, glinting in his headlights. He frowned, easing off the gas. Who leaves a cart in the middle of nowhere? He slowed, creeping closer, trying to decide if he should swerve around it. That's when two figures rushed out from the tree line. They came from both sides, dark shapes against the glow of his headlights, sprinting straight toward his car. His heart jumped into his throat. They weren't just standing there, they were charging him. One slammed a hand down on the hood, another grabbed for the passenger side handle. The metal rattled under the impact. He didn't think, he couldn't. Panic took over. He yanked the wheel, stomped on the gas. Tires squealed, smoke curled, and then, thud. A sickening sound beneath the car. His stomach lurched, but he didn't stop. He couldn't. The figures blurred in the mirrors as he sped away, music still blaring but drowned by the roar of his engine and the pounding in his ears. Every curve in the road felt like it would never end, but finally, miles later, he pulled to the side, hands shaking on the wheel. He stepped out under the dim glow of his taillights. At first, he didn't see anything. Then he noticed it. A smear of dark, sticky blood along his bumper. A fresh dent in the metal, deep enough that something, or someone, had taken the full force. But there was nothing else. No tracks. No body. No sign he had hit anyone at all. Was it a mugging gone wrong, or something much darker? Some say these setups are traps, but others claim what lurks by those roads isn't even human. 3 different night drives. 3 ordinary people who thought they were just heading home. A bartender haunted by a light that defied reason. A trucker stalked across the desert by something, or someone, who wanted inside. And a joyrider who stumbled into a trap that left behind blood, but no body. So what were they? Coincidence? Criminals waiting for the perfect chance? Or something else entirely, something not human, using the roads the way we do, but for reasons we can't understand? So now I have to ask you, next time you're driving alone at night, and you see something strange in the road, would you stop, or keep driving?